Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.
Well, welcome back to another week of my Mounting Yard preview. I'm Bella Anderson, Betfair's Mounting Yard analyst, and what another weekend of racing we've got at headquarters. Can't wait to get into it. But firstly, just wanted to talk about the purpose of this Mounting Yard preview. So basically, I just wanted to share a little bit of my insider knowledge. I have a really extensive database of all the horses I've seen across Victoria, monitoring on how they look each and every start, building a profile on what's typical for them, what I expect to see improvement-wise, or how they look when they're at their peak, or how they present when they're first up with improvement to come. And basically the point of this preview is just to share this insight with Betfair Exchange punters so we can arm you guys with the most information you can have heading to the races trackside on Saturday. Race 1 over the 2,000 metres, and there are two horses I want to hone in on here, and that's Sparkle and Alvadun. I think the key with Alvadun to see he's fourth up this prep, and typical of the stable, their horses can lighten off really quickly. So I think the key to him is to see that he's got some good condition, he's holding weight, he's still bright and healthy and handling his prep well. So that's the key for Alvadun on Saturday. And Sparkle, she's the one I really want to hone in on. I think the quick backup, she's the horse to beat. She's an intriguing mare to watch parade. She certainly doesn't do everything right. She gets really warm, she's toey, she parades with two strappers, she's quite a handful, but these are typically completely normal mannerisms for her. She performs well parading like this, so I'd expect to see nothing less from Sparkle on the weekend. But the fitness improvement I've seen from her with each run this prep, here third up, going to the 2,000 metres, I think Sparkle's going to be really hard to beat. Race 2 over the 1,100 for the 3-year-olds, and I cannot wait to see What You Need return. I saw this horse on debut. He was the pick of the yard. I made him a horse to follow. I was absolutely smitten with this colt. Obviously, we know he didn't have another start for the spring. The stable decided to tip him out, but boy, I'm so looking forward to seeing how this colt returns on Saturday. I expect him to look like an absolute beast. He's a beautiful, appealing style of colt. He's really strong, muscular. He has this great presence about him, yet he's also incredibly agile in his action. He's got a really loose, supple stride, which isn't overly common with a big, burly horse. They tend to be a bit short and tight in their action, but What You Need just ticks absolutely every box. He moves well. He's got a great type, great physique. He's professional. He's an absolute dude of a colt. He just struts around the mounting yard without a care in the world. But as soon as the jockey gets on, his game face switches on. And like I said, I was really taken by him on his debut and only race start. So can't wait to see how he comes back. And considering what I saw from him on debut and first up, I'm expecting a really forward showing from him first up here at Flemington. I think the 1,100 metres is going to be ideal. So even if he's not fully screwed down for this, he's going to be ready to fire. He's going to have the freshness in his legs for the sprinting trip. And I think What You Need is undoubtedly the horse to beat, and I'm really keen to back What You Need. Race 3 is for the 3-year-old fillies over the mile, and whilst I've seen a few horses in this race, I think it is a bit of a lottery, and it's definitely one that the mounting yard on the day is going to be really crucial. I think Shuffle Dancer, really important to note that for this girl, it's completely normal for her to be toey and warm. She performs well like this, so don't be deterred if you see Shuffle Dancer getting a bit up and about in the mounting yard. Wallenby is a filly I really liked last start. She's a lovely, strong girl. She's got plenty of substance to her, and she'll be hard fit and ready for this. So Wallenby is one I'm definitely keeping an eye out for. And Papillion Club, I think the rise in distance is really going to suit this girl. She's quite lean and athletic. She steps out over a lot of ground and isn't necessarily big and bulky. So the rise in distance is really going to suit Papillion Club. But the chances certainly don't end there, but definitely keep an eye out for Shuffle Dancer, and don't be deterred if she's hot and bothered. This is going to be another highlight on the card at Flemington. Race 4 for the 2-year-olds, and goodness me, this is such an exciting field. I've seen a number of these horses on their debut, and Fist of Fury, he was an absolute dude on debut. He was so chilled for a colt. He just meandered around the mounting yard. He's got a really lovely presence about him, and just that attitude is going to take him a really long way. So he's a nice type. He was forward conditioned. Third up, he's going to be hard fit for this. He's a lovely moving horse. So Fist of Fury is one I'm definitely keen to keep an eye on. Freak of Nature, pick of the yard on debut. Loved the way this guy presented having his first start. He was another one who was just doing everything right. And I have a bit of opinion of this horse as well. So Freak of Nature, I've definitely got a bit of a tick next to it, an asterisk to keep an eye out for. V8 is an intriguing runner, another one I saw on debut. And whilst he wasn't the pick of the yard, he is a really nice type. And I spoke to Tony McAvoy after the win of V8 on debut, and Although he went to the sales not necessarily intending to buy a grunt, he said the second he saw the type of this horse, he fell in love. And they're really strong words from Tony McAvoy as well. They named him V8 because of the size of his girth. He's got this really deep girth, which obviously stores all of their engine they need to run. And he's got this deep girth, hence he's called V8. So the team really like V8. And I think that's a really good push coming from the McAvoy stable. They know a thing or two about 2-year-olds. And Jubanenko, last start, got a little bit hot. I didn't think she performed quite as well this way. I've seen her before and she's been quite relaxed and docile in the mounting yard. So just a question mark for Saturday. If she does get a bit hot and bothered again, that would be a question mark for mine. But physically, she's cherry ripe for this. She's hard fit. I think the rise in distance is really going to suit Jubanenko, but I would keep an eye out to see if she does get warm. And if so, maybe just a question mark for me. Race 5 for the mares over the mile, and whilst I haven't got much of a betting opinion in this race, I think it's a bit of a lottery. There are some really important takeouts from a mounting yard point of view to note down. Barbara first up was really heavy in condition. She had plenty of fitness improvement to come, so I'm interested to see how much improvement she's taken from her first up run. Second up is a bit of a question mark for mine just because of how much condition she did have first up. So third up, I think she'll definitely be at her peak, even fourth up, but it will be interesting to see how much improvement Barbara has made from her first up run. Exolita, she ran really well last start and she ran up to her look. She looked absolutely outstanding, so no question marks for mine over Exolita. Torregine, if you're going to the yard, make sure you look at Torregine first because she goes out straight away. She does about half a lap of the yard. If that, she basically walks in, jockey gets on and she goes straight out. So a horse I've missed several times, but make sure you keep an eye out for Torregine and don't miss her parading. No secret, she's a horse that I'll expect to look really good. She's been presenting at her peak her last couple and completely normal for both So You See and Forbidden City to parade Toey and to get warm. They're hot mares, they're quite fizzy, they're kind of keen to get things over and done with, but that's very normal for So You See and Forbidden City. Race 6, the staying contest over 2,000 metres, and right you are, he's looking to make it 5 wins in a row, and I think he can here. I think he looks a really good price and pretty keen on his chances. I've loved him several starts now from the mounting yard. He keeps turning up in outstanding order, so I think he's going to be hard to beat in this race. Both Vow And Declare and Emissary, they're the fascinating runners, the Melbourne Cup runners as well. Emissary, loved the way he's returned to this campaign. He was really forward fitness-wise. He looked a picture of health first up. I know he didn't quite run up to his looks, but I think second up he's going to take in plenty of improvement, and I think Emissary looks a really great chance as well. Vow And Declare, he was very heavy first up. He ran absolutely out of his skin. He ran way better than I thought he would considering how heavy he is, but I think it's really important to note he's obviously getting a little bit older now, and as horses do when they get a little bit older, they tend to carry a little bit more weight. So I think that's something I've learnt with Vow And Declare is we're going to have to get used to seeing him as a big, burly sort of stayer now as he does with age. So Vow And Declare, Emissary and Right You Are, but I do think Right You Are should be hard to beat. Race 7, the Newmarket Group 1. How good is this race going to be? I am so excited and I'm actually really keen to have a bet in this race as well. I think I Wish I Win is going to be really hard to bet. Currently $4.80 on the Betfair Exchange. I think that looks like a great price, so I think he's going to shorten as well. So I'm really keen to get involved with I Wish I Win at the 4.80. He returned in outstanding order first up. He simply couldn't have looked any better for a horse returning to the races. He was just exuding health. He was radiating in his coat. He was forward fitness wise. So second up, I think he's going to be cherry ripe for this. He was moving in a way of a horse that suggests the team have him really fresh in this. He had a bit of a spring in his step, but he was stepping out over this action that shows he's going to have a dynamic turn of foot, which is exactly what we saw from him first up. You can really learn a lot from a horse in the way they walk, and I Wish I Win. He has a walk to marvel over, and marvel over him I did first up. So really keen to be on I Wish I Win here in the Newmarket. Private Eye, he's just a good looking horse. I'm very confident in the way he's going to turn up. He's going to be looking exceptional for this as well. He's definitely in contention. Lofty Strike, said it before, I'll say it again. He's a hot horse. Don't be worried if you see him toey, warm, sweating up. Very typical for him. It was really interesting last start. It was probably the most relaxed parade I'd seen from Lofty Strike. He was kind of a bit relaxed in the mounting yard, and I had a bit of a question mark over whether or not that means he'll race a little bit flat, but he certainly didn't. So either way, no matter what Lofty Strike looks like, it's going to be completely normal for him. And Chain of Lightning, she's one I want to have an each way play with. I think she looks a really big price. She's been consistent. She's been looking really good. I think she's quite a heavy type of mare as well. So I think with a few races under her belt, she's here third up. She's going to be hard fit for this. And I think she looks a really good place price. But I Wish I Win, really keen on his chances at 480. So I'll be backing I Wish I Win. Race 8, the Group 3 over 1,400 metres, and this is where my lay and my back come up in this race. I'm quite keen to take on Ayrton here. He's first up, and that's the thing that worries me. His first up record is absolutely phenomenal. He's had 5 first up runs for 4 wins and a second, so that definitely worries me, particularly after how he went last week with Munamek, but he's first up against hard fit horses. We've got Scalapini, Savannah Cloud, to name a few, and there's even a few roughies who look really good chances to my eye. Biometric, not an option. These are all horses that have race fitness under their belt. I think it's going to be a testing 1,400 metres for Ayrton, and I think at the price, considering the fact that he's against horses that I know are going to be looking $1 million, I think he's currently $3.45 on the Betfair Exchange, so I'm quite keen to take on Ayrton. And I'm also really keen to back Scalapini. I think he's the one that is hard fit. He looked outstanding last start. He was radiating health, he was hard fit, moving well, really good strength. So I think Scalapini looks a great chance. He's 2 for 2 track and distance as well, and that's certainly a really big tick. So keen to back Scalapini. He's currently at 5.20, so backing Scalapini at 5.20 and laying Ayrton at 3.45. The lucky last, race 9, the 1,400 metres for the 3-year-olds, and pretty tricky way to end the day, but I've narrowed it in on 3 horses. Their profiles really stood out for mine. Meridius, Climbing Star, and Zupering. Meridius, really liked him first up. He was returning in a really good manner. Climbing Star, I loved her last prep. I made her a horse to follow after her debut. She was just a really striking type. She's really agile, really athletic. She's well proportioned, well built, great attitude. She's just an absolute box ticker. But I know her form has been a bit of a question mark this prep, but there's certainly been no excuses from a mounting yard point of view. She's come back bigger, better, stronger. So she's definitely the interesting runner for mine. I think if she can run up to her looks and run up to what we saw from her first campaign, I think she's definitely going to be in the finish. That's Climbing Star. And Zupering, he's the one coming from maiden grade, but love this horse. He looks like he could be something quite special. He looks like he should definitely be winning a race of this caliber at some time in his career. Whether or not Saturday's the day, we'll soon find out. But from a looks point of view, Zupering at $12 certainly looks a really good play, good way to play in the lucky last at Flemington. Well, that's a wrap on my mounting yard preview for this week at Flemington. In summary, there are 3 bets and 1 lay I'm really keen to have. Race 2, what you need is currently $1.92 on the Betfair Exchange. I think he's going to be incredibly hard to beat. Race 7, the Newmarket, my bet for this is I Wish I Win. $4.80 currently on the Betfair Exchange, and I think the way he's come back this campaign gives him in outstanding order to be winning this, and really keen on the chances of I Wish I Win in the Newmarket. Race 8, Scalapini, I'm backing him at 5.20, and I'm also laying Ayrton at 3.45 on the Betfair Exchange. So in race 8, backing Scalapini and laying Ayrton. Well, hopefully everyone can find plenty of winners this weekend at Saturday at Flemington, and hopefully Ayrton as well doesn't win, unlike Munamek last week. Very unfortunate there, but anyway, hopefully everyone's enjoyed the preview this week from the mounting yard and learnt a thing or two on what to look out for in the yard.
Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.